This is Arjuna, aka Professional High Priestess, and just in my kitchen. um, but this is kind of where I usually kind of get things started for when I'm doing my works, right? So I'm gonna just talk a little bit about energy harvesting, courting, crown chakra magic, and then on top of that, I'm going to be talking about familiar spirits, okay? So you guys can understand this, how it looks, how it manifests, and then I'm going to just be showing you guys the way that you actually need to address this because it's different than just banishing and clearing and things like that, right? So, because I got notes. Okay, so first things first. What are courting spells and things like that? So courting spells, especially energy harvesting magic, is where individuals try to merge into your energy field to be able to pick up on your energy, your blessings, tap into your power source. It's like a lot of these people that do this, they have no power or manifestation of their own, so they have to rely on other people's to do it. In order to do this, though, you have to actually break, like die and then come back again. It's like becoming a vampire. That's why this type of magic is the most type of useless and dangerous and not fulfilling magic at all, because it's like you have to constantly be feeding that entity that's harvesting off of other people, things like that. It's kind of like the concept that we talked about in ancient Germany of dragons. These like energetic forms that used to go around stealing for karmics and bringing people's gifts and blessings back to them so they can generate whatever. With courting, an individual creates an etheric cord of attachment to you so that they can stop you from walking away, keep you connected to them emotionally, sexually, etc., or financially, right? Because finances can also be a cord of attachment if you think about it. Now, with this type of cord of attachment, those are easier to break with just cord cutting rituals, right? Clearing spells, run devil run. I want to talk about familiar spirits before I get to the energy vampirism. Familiar spirits is basically when someone tries to merge with your crown chakra. They try to place certain type of entities and magic between you and them, a cord, or there's a third element, an outside entity or force that sits between you and this person to gather information from you to bring back to this person or to keep your chakras merged, your crown chakra merged with theirs. It's very disgusting. This is what a lot of these karmics do when they do their love spells, though. Crown chakra magic is very much similar to the familiar spirits. Now, the thing about familiar spirits is too, they could send, basically it's where they send entities around to monitor you in the dream state or in the astral and things like that. Because, as above, so below. So if they can attack you in the astral, monitor you in the astral, then what will be able to happen is they'll be able to counteract, like they're trying to counteract the things that are going to happen then in the physical. And usually what ends up happening is either the person breaks the magic or the familiar spirit doesn't really gather the information that's necessary, right? So also a type of familiar spirit that we've been talking about is the surveillancing energy, where people can send bugs and like that to your home to surveillance you. Usually it's flies. So now I want to kind of get into the love spells too. So when someone does a love spell on you, they definitely attempt to create an imbalance in your chakras in order to, first they create the imbalance so that you're weakened, and then they come in and try to create cords of attachment to shift your mind, your behavior, and the dynamics so they can be in control. Because love spells, honestly, another word for love spells is domination spells. Unless you put the spell on yourself for you to love yourself and then for you to attract the love outside of yourself. Other than that, it's love spells or domination spells, period, point blank. You're manipulating somebody's mind to do your bidding. So now when we're talking about the energy harvesting, this is when an individual attempts to create a cord of attachment to you using a demonic force, using usually satanic in nature, because satanic forces are anything that goes against natural or universal law, right? So with this energy vampirism, this individual, like I said, they break their auric field, they shatter their auric field. It's like, vampires, they can only drink blood. So they don't get nourished off of things that we get nourished off of, right? They can only be nourished off of other people's energies, lying, cheating, creating chaos and destruction, because the demon that's working to harvest off other people, that's what it needs to survive, because it's satanic in nature. It needs dark devil energy to survive, right? So with the energy harvesting, one of the things that happens in these karmics, they blow open their 12-strand DNA. And as they blow open their 12-strand DNA, what ends up happening is that opening up their 12-strand DNA allows them to basically kind of become like a hologram, a shapeshifter, and they can then take on various forms. So the forms that they usually like to take on are the forms of divine people. They like to go after high vibrational energy. So energy vampires, they try to attack you by allowing this demon through some type of ritual or magic to come onto your chakras and harvest off of whatever chakra it is. So, sometimes it's all of them. Sometimes it's just like your root or your solar plexus or your crown, depending on what they want. This is very common in the entertainment industry. Now, I want to tell you, I've had this happen to me, of course, by the Karmics on YouTube, but also Janae Eiko. But this is something that she does to a lot of people because one of my subbies that's come to me for readings is her baby daddy's girlfriend, Paloma Ford. She's a singer. I want you guys to go look her up. And Janae has done several energy harvesting rituals on her, as well as other female artists in the space, so that she can be the one on top. But you notice that for all the followers and stuff like that she doesn't really put out a lot of work, because they use that energy for clout and for fame and for attention, but it can't help them manifest, because a lot of the people that they're harvesting off of have really high vibrational ancestors that are pulling the energy back, right? But then at the same time, you have to turn yourself into like a demon. You have to die, literally. So like they're like walking carcasses, basically living off of other people's energy. So this stuff is really serious. A lot of people do this for spiritual gifts and things like that, other people's spiritual gifts, right? For fame and things like that belongs to other people. It's crazy. And a lot of these karmics, they do this because they know that you have protection, you have gifts that they have to go into rituals and initiations and take oaths to get. And you don't have to do any of that, right? Like, let's say, for instance, you can drink mugwort or go to cola and you can have like crazy wild dreams and your intuition is on point. They have to go tie into rituals and do sacrifices to get those same type of spiritual gifts on that level. So, this is very prevalent these days, because a lot of these karmics, I don't know I feel like there's a couple of people that are teaching a lot of the karmics this. That's what I'm saying. It's like this magic, people are like, how are so many people getting a hold of this? I feel like it's one or two practitioners that are not supposed to be bringing this outside of their tradition that has been teaching other karmics, and then those karmics give it to other karmics. So, but I feel like in the near future, there's going to be some reprimand for that, because they've been causing too much havoc, because I know a lot of people that have gone through this type of thing. And the funny thing is, all of our karmics are connected. So I think it's just a couple of people teaching karmics, and then those karmics are going out causing havoc. So moving forward, some of you guys are like, I've been through energy harvesting. I've been through chakra magic. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's different than doing banishing, run, double run, or spellbreaker, because the individual has merged into your energy fields, right? So, like, you're going to have to do separation work. That's really it. The biggest thing is separation work. But I'm going to tell you some of the products that you guys can get, and I'm going to show you the difference between the different supplies and all that type of stuff. So the first thing first is the type of work that you're going to do. You're going to do jars, candles, and baths. All right? Jars, candles, and baths. You're going to do jars for banishing, getting these people out of your field, run, double run. And that would mean you getting like the anti-satanic supplies that I talk about a lot when you're doing that type of work. It's anti-Satan. So you're going to want banishing oil, run, double run, as well as binding. And the binding oil is basically to like stop these karmics from being able to touch you in the spiritual realm, right? So now you can do a jar, and then you can put whatever binding herbs as well in there. If you took the spiritual warfare class, there's a whole thing about different herbs you can use, right? So then you can put that jar in the freezer with vinegar and some of your pee. Or if not, then you put that like in a cabinet or somewhere dark or whatnot, right? I would also suggest, so after you do the jar, I would suggest that you do a clearing bath, but I would suggest that you do exorcism. Get an exorcism oil, and you can mix that with any type of oil to strengthen the mixture. But I would use double action. So I would use double action oil, because double action oil, it amplifies the energy of whatever you're doing. So double action oil, then on top of using double action oil, what I would then do is I would mix that with exorcism oil with some salt, right? And then I would sit in that. I'm not gonna put protection oil or nothing like that. No, just exorcism, and then any type of other oil that you like for like banishing spirits, like destroy everything, that type of stuff, right? So, or hot, not hot foot, but snake oil or rue, okay, rue or snake oil or exorcism oil. Also, I would also use high altar, and high altar is just to bring in that like high vibrational spiritual energy into your space, okay? So you put that in a bath, you do that, then you do your candle work, you see? So you do that in layers. You can do the bath first and then the jar, but I would do that in layers, you see? But I honestly would do the jar first. After you do the first level of clearing, okay, you got them out of your energy on one level, then you do your bath as a second level. Now the candle work is the third level. Candle work or fire magic, where you get either their photos and put like, you can use their photos, or you can even do something where you just write a petition and then put like reversible or run devil run or separation oil on that to get rid of the people that are trying to bind you, do spell work on your chakras, all that type of stuff, energy harvesting magic. Now, one of the things that I'm also picking up here is one of the things that you should also be mindful of is different type of candle magic that you can do. So now one thing that I really like, I like taper candles because you can read the wax with the taper candles. With the glass candles, you can't really read the wax as easily. It doesn't tell as much as a story. You can see like, okay, if it's getting black or things like that, especially if you have heavy magic being done on you, you want to start with taper. Doing the taper is actually going to help then the glass actually go quicker. Yeah, because the taper it can't burn out, right? It's a taper candle. All it can show you is like how much work is still needed to be cleared out, right? So now, let's say for instance, you're going to be going into removing a karmic from your energy field that's been doing energy harvesting magic or trying to court you or things like that. What you really, really need to focus on is you need to focus on separation products. So you know how some of these karmics, they use that type of stuff to get you away from your masculine? That's what you're going to be using, separation. Separation oil, separation powder. I bought this a while ago and I never used it, but my guys told me to get it and now I see why. And look, it's still full. And it's all like cleared out because, I mean, you could, the letters are cleared off the bottle because I've kept this for a while. Separation oil. Now with the separation oil, you cover your candles, okay? You want to start with black. You want to start with around the black taper candles. Separation oil, separation powder. You can also add so you can do separation oil, and then you can also add like the strengthening, or you can also add the a reversible or run devil run. Okay, you want to make sure that when you're doing your work, that the herbs and the oils that you're using, they have the same purpose. So if you're going to do a spellbreaker bath, you're not going to add protection oil. It's going to kind of like the weaken the power of the products you're using. So if you're going to do protection, everything has to be protection. You want to do spell breaking, everything has to be spell breaking. Okay. Now you want to get to drive evil away, banishing, exorcism, and separation. But you have to have separation oil in the mix. That's key. It's the separation oil. Because what the separation oil is going to do, it's going to unmerge your energy field from this other individual. That shit works. You guys saw the photo that I posted. That stuff is really real. These karmics really go that far. They're really sick in the head. So now you can use black just in general because that's good for banishing, clearing, protection, etc. But you also then want to, let's say for instance, you know what chakra they're trying to impact. Let's say for instance, it's your crown or your pineal. You're going to use for your pineal gland, your third eye, and your crown, you use purple or silver or white. All right. If it's for your sacral chakra, like sex magic, courting and binding, trying to like harvest your creativity, because that's where a lot of people get attacked really, because their creative center, you're going to use orange, and so on and so forth. So you're going to use the color candle for the specific chakra that you're trying to clear up. Okay. All right. Now, one of the other things that you want to think about as well is, so these are the oils that you can use. Run Devil Run, Devil Shoestring, which is really good. Exorcism oil. Separation has to be inside. Separation oil. Banish, as well as hot foot oil. Those are all the oils that you use. You can use. You can use one or two, or you can use just the separation and a couple of them added. But you don't want to do more than like 3 or 4, okay? And then I would say add a sachet powder or any type of herb, like specifically like rue, valerian, or angelica. All right, you want to maybe get that in powder form, okay? Or you can use L-campaign. L-campaign is for banishing low vibrational baneful spirits. All right, violent baneful spirits. All right. So I learned a lot of this after being attacked and going through the motions. But my ancestors would like drop in and be like, use this, do it this way, put it together this way. Also, let's say for instance, you have your oils and then you just use your separation powder. That's just as good. That's just as good. Okay. But you need to make sure you have some type of separation agent in there, period. Now, let's say for instance, you use regular candles. You are now. I'm going to show you how to basically program the candle for you and that person too. So don't worry about that. So this is a double action reversible candle. Don't worry about it. I just needed to have a candle. You want to use black, or like I said, depending on what chakra you're using, you want to focus on that chakra color. Let's say, for instance, you don't know what chakra they're doing, but you want them out of all your chakras. Then you should probably use 2 chakra candles at a time, because you know the chakra candle has all the colors in it. You guys know how to program your candles and do all that stuff. There's many ways to do it. I'm not gonna. So do that, right? If you guys took the, if you guys have the, what's this thing called? If you ever took the Spellbreaker session, you guys have the tutorial video, how to do your candle. So I have that. Now, one of the things that you guys want to be mindful of is also like, because I know that there's karmics that like come on here to steal and they go on their channel to put stuff out there. If you have people that have been stealing from you, trying to harvest your like, because it's not just energy harvesting through direct magic, it's also narcissistic energy. People who are trying to build a cloud off of you or steal from you. This same exact process will work. And you're going to see everything that they got from trying to vampirize off of you fucking implode and cave in like the souffle that's not fully cooked. All right? Now, another thing that I'm picking up that you need to think about is like I said, get your candle. So for instance, if you're going to be doing a candle just for somebody you're trying to get rid of, I would do 1 person per candle, just 1 person per separation candle. Now, let's say for instance, after you do your separation candle, you want to follow up with this sequence. You're going to separate, you're going to banish, and if you need to, you're going to reverse, or you're going to do a clearing spell on yourself, okay? So separate, banish, reverse, or clear, or both, okay? Separate, banish, reverse, clear. Separate, banish, reverse, clear. All right. You can do separate, banish, bind, clear as well if you're not doing reversals. But you don't want to like do the banish, the separate, and then the banish, and then try to do the reversal. Right? You want to make sure that, okay, if you're going to do a reversal, then you do the reversal and then you do the binding to stop them from being able to come to your energy field. So you need to make sure you're doing things in sequence. And it just makes sense naturally. I'm a Virgo, so I'm all about processes. Like, okay, how do I amplify this as much as possible, right? Like, look, let's say for instance, like, I know that there's like, if let's say for instance someone's trying to do money magic on me, I'm gonna first focus on like, I'm gonna focus first on clearing out any entities and things like that before I try to call in any new energy for financially, right? So that's kind of like the process and the thought pattern that you're going to hold when you're doing this type of stuff. Yeah, there's a science to this shit, yo. That's why people get paid to do this. Yeah, the 7 times reversal, you can do that. Yeah, you can use the 7 times reversal and it has all the different colors. Yeah, because it's really just a print screen on here. I would also say too, this is the thing when you're doing, let me get my charger real quick because I don't want my laptop to die while I'm talking. All right, you guys. So now another thing that I also suggest, triple reversal powerful. So after you do that sequence, right, that we just talked about with the karmics, you're gonna do the separation, banish, you're gonna either reverse or bind. So depending on, let's say for instance, these people are doing hella work on you, you want to make sure you separate their energy from you first so they have all their shit to them. You want to make sure you banish them so they're out of your energy field and all that energy, feel it. Then you want to like bind or reverse, right? Now for you, what you want is you want to do clearing on yourself, right? So after you do that for your karmics, you want to make sure that you do a clearing, like a bath or counter work on yourself. But then you also want to get something called counteracting. And counteracting basically is like it's like counteracting is basically where like or mirror meditation, counteracting or mirror meditation, so that anybody that tries to get into your field in the future, it reverses back onto them, and like they start to vampirize off of their self. It's really crazy. And this drives energy vampires crazy when they realize that they're just vampirizing off themselves or fucking themselves over, right? So one of the things that you have here, hi DF Keisha, one of the things too that you want to make sure that you're doing is, let's say for instance, you get like the double color reversible candle, you always want to make sure that the black is on top, all right? So that's just one thing to say. Now, if you want, you can get plain candles, things like that. Now, let's say, for instance, okay, Daisy, like, when should I do this? You want to make sure, for those of you who know what you're doing or who've done work before, you do usually clearing spells and things like that, like on Friday night, Saturday, because that's Saturn's day, the day of Saturn, right? So that's when a lot of that work, this work should be done. Discipline, karma, all that's energy, because it's karmic energy, all that going back. Now, another thing that you also want to be mindful of, one of the things that you also want to be mindful of, like I said, you want to do the clearing work on yourself. Then you want to get something called counteracting. It's very powerful, or do your mirror meditation too. Then you want to just seal yourself with a protection or candle or protection bath or sigil work on yourself, whatever it is, okay? Now, another thing too is, as the karmics keep on trying to come back, it gets weaker and weaker and weaker. It doesn't work as much. So they don't get as much energy, and every time they just my title. Ooh, can you please send me a link for that? Please, V. Now, one of the things that, like, because I told you about the counteracting oil, and that shit works. It counteracts energy, vampiric attacks, right? So a vampire will try to vampirize off you, and then the attack is basically counteracted, and it'll be returned to sender, blocked, etc. Now, one of the things that you want to make sure that you're doing, like I said, clear, counteract, protect, all right? So that's your sequence. Separate, banish, reverse, clearing, right? Separate, banish, reverse or bind, and then clear. So there you go. So now another thing too that I wanted to add, so this is how you're like, okay, well, how do I program the candle to me and the karmic so we can separate? I'm going to show you. So, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I can just foil right here as an example, okay? So you guys know when you do your works, you have to use parchment paper or a brown paper bag. Oh, I don't have anything right here. So what you're gonna do is I'm just gonna model this with like a piece of foil, okay? You get a small piece of paper. It doesn't have to be big. A small piece of paper, or let's say for instance, you get your picture or you have the karmic's picture. You're gonna write your name and your birthday on the front. You're gonna write the karmic's name and their birthday on the back. One per each. One. Or two. If you're using my guy said, yeah, one or two. So if it's you and a couple of people, then it's one, you on the front, and then the two people on the back, all right? But you don't want to do too many people per candle or per sheet. Now, what you're going to then do is you're going to fold this up, all right, away from you, this way, that way. You want to make sure that this burns, and then you're going to put it in the candle to burn with the wick and all that type of stuff. That's how you program it to your energy field and the karmic's energy field. Now, let's say, for instance, it's you have your picture. you can write the name of the karmic on your photo, okay? Write the karmic's name on your photo, and then you can write separate underneath in parentheses, all right? Then what you're going to do is you're gonna fold that same way away from you, fold it, put it in the candle, let that shit burn. You can then even use, do the same process with the taper candles. Let's say, for instance, it's too hot to hold the paper. You can light it, let it go on the fire, put it on like maybe a counter, or you can even use foil. Then you can just light the candle, just like that. Just like that. And you can even draw separation sigils on your candles too, okay? Same exact process. That's what you're going to do. That's exactly how you are going to do this. I know, right? You're like, oh, that's how you do that. Yeah. I wanted to just make sure that I showed you guys this so you can understand moving forward. Now, let's say, for instance, you do the chakra clearing, right? So let's say, for instance, you do the chakra, each chakra by chakra. You write your name on the front and then their name on the back. You do the separation. Then what you're going to do is take another same color, then do the banish or reversal, okay? As well as for the binding away from your chakra. Make sure to, so when you're doing the banishing, you can make sure you can use banishing oil, but you can also use Run Devil Run and Keep Away Evil oil, okay? Or Stop Satan oil. For the binding, you can use Stop Satan oil as well as any type of binding oil, all right? Yeah. So that's how you guys do it. That's how you break energy. I know you're like, what? That's how you do it. Yeah. If you want to, another thing you can also do, because after you do this and you're about to stuff like that, there's a specific meditation that you can do. And I think, you know what? I'm going to just curate that meditation. I my YouTube channel, so you guys can go see that one where we pull your energy out of the 12-strand DNA. And then basically, there's another one with the Akashic Records where we basically pull your energy out of their Akashic Records, put your energy back into your Akashic Records, give them back their gunk and their karma, seal off your Akashic Records, protect them and bind them from karmics. And then you can do those meditations as well, because even if you like, you can also pay somebody if you want to as well to help you do a separation spell. It's the same thing that these karmics go do when they go do spell work on you and your twin. They go pay somebody to do a separation spell. You can pay somebody to do a separation spell between you and the karmic to amplify the process, to get them out of your energy field, all that type of stuff. Yeah. So that you're not susceptible to their attacks at all. You're not susceptible to their energy vampirism or their narcissistic tactics. So, any questions before we let off, you guys? Okay. Right. People that do this really are really sick, you guys. Don't try to understand it. Don't try to have any rhyme or reason. You like taking notes? You guys are so funny. You got this. Trust me. These karmics are no match for you. All right. So you all, yeah, really good. I'm gonna be doing a round for myself tonight, a couple rounds. Okay. Now, one thing that I did want to say about the candle work, you can actually layer the candle work. Okay. Let's say, for instance, if you're doing like, hi, Crystal Richard. Hi, everyone. Let's say, for instance, you're doing candle work on yourself, and like you want to for the justice services, just go to my website and look at all the stuff that's there in terms of what you may need, and then you can go from there to book a session or whatnot. Now, one of the things that I'm also picking up on here, tier the candle work. So let's say, for instance, you're getting 7-day candles. All right. So first, you have a 7-day candle for the separation. You want to let that go like 3 to 4 days, and then boom, follow up with the banish. You want to let that banishing candle go for 3 to 4 days. By that time, the separation candle is done. Boom, you can start the reversal or the binding. When that's done for 3 to 4 days, the banishing spell would have already been done. The reversal or the binding spell is still going. Then you can kind of finish off with the last, which is the clearing and things like that. So you can tier the candle work like that too. So it's going all at once. V, make sure that you email me on or on the Patreon, or email me that information, the tower oil. Okay. All right. Any questions? I mean, they got separate oil. It's not the foot on the neck ritual. Yeah, real talk. Hell yeah. Hell motherfucking yeah. Hell yeah. And this is best done during a full moon, okay? Because the full moon is all about releasing and letting things go. All right. So just know that, all right? Really sick in the head, bro. I've never seen anything like it. It's beyond me that people really live like that and are that depraved and bitter and hate themselves that they would really go that fucking far. Okay. All right, you all. So that is what I have for you. This was a really good session. Right. Now, I want to say something about the separation. Make sure that you're just getting separation oil. All right. Not breakup, not your lover will hate you. Purely separation oil. Now, let me see here. You can go to all right, here we go. Right, calmly. Exactly. I know. You guys would be like, separation oil, what the fuck? There you go. Original Botanica, I like them. They got some good stuff. So this is the separation oil, and they have all different sizes and prices. They're actually very affordable. How much is a 16 ounce? $44? That's actually not that bad. Because the 16 ounce would be like this size. Sorry, I was just dirty extra. The 16 ounce would kind of be like this size, or like just a little bit smaller. Yeah, $40. Especially if you know that people are constantly like working on you and things like that. Now, another thing as well is, like I said, when you're doing the separation, you have to add that exorcism, because the exorcism is going to remove the spirit of the person that's attempting to come into your energy field. And also, too, you have to unwind, because they try to weave into your 12-strand DNA to be a part of you. And it's like how in Harry Potter, Lord Voldemort, when he tried to kill Harry, like it's like Harry had a piece of his consciousness, if that makes some sense. So he would always know when he was coming around her. He would know like when he was like kind of plotting or planning something, because then his scar would start throbbing. So that is like a whole layer of work that needs to be done. But for the most part, this definitely works. And I can feel it already, because I already know that they're in here watching as we speak, trying to figure out, does she know how to break it? Are you sure? Because they're wanting to go back and do it again because they're sick as fuck. And I'm just going to say this right now. A lot of people that are playing with that magic, because it's skinwalker magic, they're going to end up dying. They're going to end up like getting some type of DNA damage from trying to tap into your energy field and merge with you. That's going to end up backfiring and fucking them up. It's already happening for them. Yeah, Kalina, yeah, you had a run double run. Yeah, that run double run too, get into it. Get into it. I know that there's something called Lucky Shop. Not Lucky Shop. Damn, I can't remember what the name of this company is, but they have like on their website how to do run double run spells and different type of things like that. Again, I wish I can like go deeper and say this will help you. Again, like, you know, karmics are watching it. They don't deserve to get this information. They need to go fucking die somewhere. All right, you guys. So that's what I have for you. I'm gonna go get into my works. This shit works. Get into your candle work. Do your bats. Do your meditations. I would also call on Archangel Michael, my guide said, to continue to protect you from these karmics, as well as Ma'at. There's even cord cutting rituals that you can do as well on top of this, like chakra, using different chakra rituals. I would also say too, the biggest thing after you go through the energy attacks is you want to rebuild. That's what I'm saying, like you do the candle again with the clearing or protection or whatnot for each chakra too. Because you want to rebuild each chakra that may have been impacted or touched by the karmics. Because that's how they get into your spiritual body. They try to shoot a hole, rip a tear into your auric field. Now I want to talk about something else, aura. And that's why we talked about what was the last spiritual warfare that we did, the aura fortification. Oh yeah, tower oil. Oh yeah. Okay, trust me. Okay, so I know what you're talking about now. I thought it was something else. Hey, that tower oil. See, I told you that shit works wonders. I know what you're talking about. So now you want to also do aura work on yourself, okay? Because that's how the karmics get into you by any type of rips or holes or tears in your auric field. They try to get the entity to latch onto your auric field, and then kind of like Pac-Man, weasel its way in there to get into your chakras, to then get into your spiritual bodies, and then your 12 strand DNA. So you want to make sure you're shielding and fortifying your auric field as well, so they can't get into you. Now, when these karmics do this, when they attack you like that, they try to create a cord of attachment between you and them. What ends up happening is they create an imprint in your energy field. And that imprint is basically like a second body of theirs, like a spiritual residue, but it translates to their energy field. So you can do whatever you want to that spiritual body. That's why a lot of the times these karmics, when they do that energy harvesting magic, it's like they're asking for a death sentence, because you literally will have full dominion on them, because it's like a parasite attached to a host. The host can do whatever it wants. So if I put something on me to poison you, what's going to end up happening to you? Do the cut meditation as well. Yeah. All right, you all. Whew, that was good. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps. Bye.